What up, Crypto Warriors? It's SgtCrypto back at it again. Today is Saturday, the 10th of April, 2021. Yesterday, DMX passed away on the Friday the 9th. Just playing this quick as my intro, real quick. A prayer from snippet. Prayer from DMX.
Father God, I am just learning how to pray. Bear with me. First, I thank you for the life of everyone that's here with me. Then I thank you for the love you give me. I don't deserve it, and it hurts inside. Many a nights I cried and called your name out loud, but didn't call you when I was doing good, too proud.
Didn't want to play too much of it, because don't want to get copyright strike and all that good stuff. But yeah, shout out to DMX, man. I grew up in the late 90s, joining the Marines in 99, and DMX was a part of that soundtrack of my life when I was my late teenage years and my time in the Marine Corps, my early time in the Marine Corps. And yeah, shout out to him and his family, or RIP, man. Let's get into it. We see Bitcoin is is above that 60K mark right now. Hopefully we can get to stay above that 60K mark and push forward from here on out. And we see it in the green over the past 24 hours. Everything is pretty much in the green in the top 20. If it's not in the green, it's trading sideways in the top 20. Solana, we'll say it's trading sideways because look at the weekly gains on it over the past 24 hours. So congratulations to all the bag holders out there of all these different cryptocurrencies, especially to XRP bag holders and to the Binance Coin bag. I sold everything way too early, man. That's the key to crypto. You just got to hold on because the price will increase in the future. All right. You just have to have patience. All right. Let's get into it. All right. So I have this video queued up here from CNBS, and they are interviewing the president of Digital Chamber of Commerce. And she's saying why Coinbase is undervalued at its current valuation of $100 billion. I personally think that it is overvalued, but what do I know, right? And we're going to get into some articles as well to basically back up her evaluations, not only just of Coinbase, but really of Bitcoin, because we know that Bitcoin is the driving force behind Coinbase's valuation. All right, so let's get into it.
Coinbase is expected to go public next week with a reported valuation all in of more than $100 billion. Joining us now is Perianne Boring, founder and president of the Digital Chamber of Commerce. Just looking at the numbers, if you were to just look at growth and I guess just extend the growth that we saw in the last year into the future, maybe it makes sense. I guess that's the real question. But these numbers, Perianne, revenue year over year up 847%. So
a lot of gains.
Billion first quarter revenue versus 190 million, and net income jumping to roughly $750 million from 32 million. And then you got just assets because of what happened with crypto and mostly Bitcoin, 223 billion versus 90 billion at the end of 2020. Does that justify a $100 billion market cap for Coinbase?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Coinbase is actually undervalued for two reasons. One, fast-growing companies deserve a higher multiple. And as you noted in their earnings call this week, we learned that in the first quarter of this year, they did 1.8 billion in revenue. They have a run rate of 7 billion, and they're expected to earn anywhere between 8 and 10 billion in revenue in 2021. So their valuation is 10x of that. For a fast-growing company that's growing at 400% year over year, they deserve a higher multiple. I think that multiple should be closer to 15x, which would really bring it more to 150 billion valuation. Fast-growing companies deserve higher multiples to revenue, but that's only the first reason. The second reason that I think Coinbase is undervalued is because Bitcoin is undervalued, and Coinbase's performance tracks very closely with Bitcoin's performance, and Bitcoin's undervalued based on multiple models.
In multiple models. All right, there's a lot of ways to try to value Bitcoin. A lot of it is pretty arcane, but I think the CEO of Coinbase pointed out the 4 other times when Bitcoin has gone on a run like this, and kind of implying that this time it may have gotten above a certain level where we may not see the highs and lows of previous years, where we saw 20,000 and then we saw 4,000. So what do you think the low on Bitcoin will be? And then I don't just mean this year, but in general, how will it ever pull back below 35,000, below 30,000? When you say it's undervalued, what do you think it is valued? You a maximalist?
This is he's funny by saying if she's a maximalist, but this question is a good question where he's asking if Bitcoin will have another like 80 or 70 to 80% drawback after reaching its all-time high, wherever that may be. In my opinion, we won't see such a volatile swing to the downside for Bitcoin anymore. Yes, there'll always be the opportunity or the probability that it could, go draw back 20 to maybe even 40%, but 50% and more, in my opinion, I don't think so, and here's why. Let me see which this the article right here. No, yep, this is it right here. Because we have not only publicly traded companies investing in Bitcoin and keeping Bitcoin on their balance sheet, we also now have insurance companies investing in Bitcoin. This is coming from the NASDAQ, all right? All the articles I have up to date are it's from the NASDAQ, and I think I have one from Bloomberg. And when talking about the NASDAQ, right, we have to remember the audience that they are going, their typical audience, so to speak. This isn't, your Cointelegraph, not to talk bad about Cointelegraph and crypto news websites, right? But when you're talking about NASDAQ and Bloomberg, you got to think about the type of audience that they typically cater to. And with that being said, we have NYDIG, right? Raises $100 million, details Bitcoin-powered insurance strategy. I'm not going to go into this article. As always, everything will be linked in the description below. But just wanted to point out that we have the likes of Liberty Mutual Insurance, other property and casualty insurers join in NYDIG's existing partnership with New York's Mass Mutual, which is another insurance company. When you talk about insurance companies, they're not thinking about to us what would be maybe what do you call it, like a midterm in terms of time frame, like 5 years, 10 years. They're thinking about 50 to 100 years from now. They're not getting involved with Bitcoin for a quick turnaround. They're not getting involved with Bitcoin, looking 10 years down the line, into the next decade. They're looking, like I said, half a century from now, a full century from now. This is what insurance companies do. They're trying to protect themselves and trying to get as much yield as possible over the next half a century to a century from now. So again, when he asks the question about Bitcoin having that 80% drawdown like it did in the past, for like I'm going to give you the 2017 example, went up to 20K, then dropped back down to 3K, right? That kind of stuff isn't going to happen again, in my opinion. This is not financial advice. I'm just sharing my opinion here. And what I'm saying is, we'll have the likes of these organizations, these companies, if they're buying Bitcoin right now at 60K, don't you think they'll see it even more attractive at 30K, right? So when it gets down, if they allow it to get down to that 30K mark, right, they'll be buying it up. And with not even just these participants that are now in the crypto space, right? We have the likes of MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor that's buying Bitcoin at every turn. They just bought $15 million more of Bitcoin. $15 million worth more of Bitcoin, right? Every time you turn around, you have MicroStrategy buying more Bitcoin. And Michael Saylor himself, right, investing his own money into buying more Bitcoin. What I'm saying is, I don't think we'll see the big dips like we did in the past. Yes, there'll always be dips, all right? People will always take profits. They're always going to be traders. Traders going to be taking their profits here and there. The price will drop down a little bit. There'll be bad news and things of that nature. A lot of FUD that's happening, and drop the price here and there. However, that 80% drawdown like we used to see, I don't think we'll get them again. All right, let's continue the video.
$1 million a coin. I mean, where are you on the high and the low?
Metcalfe's law says that Bitcoin should be priced at $72,000 today. Metcalfe's law that was formulated.
Like I said in my previous videos, I think Bitcoin should be priced between 70 and 85K. Just from all the fundamentals that's happening in the space right now, from everybody that's buying it up, okay, right now, everybody that's getting involved with it right now, and the fact that miners are holding on to it and not selling it, all right? And she just substantiate my ideas on the price of Bitcoin. Play it again.
That was formulated by one of our advisory board members, George Gilder, and it's a formula that many technology investors use today to value a network, and you just use user squared times the transaction value. That brings you to 72,000 today. Another model that we look at is stock to flow. Joe, I know you're very familiar with this. Stock to flow says Bitcoin should be priced at 100,000 to 288,000 this year. We have 12 years of data on stock to flow in Bitcoin, and if you measure it using US dollars, stock to flow is 94% correlated. And if you use gold, stock to flow is 99% correlated. And stock to flow also says Bitcoin will be $10,000 an ounce. One Bitcoin will be 10,000 ounces of gold in 2029. That's what people mean when they say Bitcoin is eating gold.
And here's that article right here. Is this the one? No, this the one. Bitcoin is nope. This is it right here. This comes from Bloomberg. Again, remember the audience that they're going after, right? Remember the audience that they're going after. Bloomberg. Their typical audience, and this is it right here. All right, Bitcoin is displacing gold as an inflation hedge. The digital asset's increasing scale has made it a more viable competitor to the traditional protector against currency debasement. Again, all these articles will be linked in the description below. And there you have it, man. Like, Bitcoin is the digital form of gold. Whenever you have a digital form of something, it always is 10 to 100x better than the analog version. Let's continue.
The value of Coinbase that I'm curious about is currently they are virtually the only game in town in the United States. But if you are as bullish as I think you are on cryptocurrencies long term, you'd imagine that JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, we just had JJ Kinahan on, the TD Ameritrades of the world. Everybody will allow trading of these currencies. So how will that impact, I would imagine, the value of Coinbase?
Impact the market cap of Bitcoin. And Coinbase isn't the only game in town. Kraken is quickly behind them, and they announced yesterday they plan to do a direct listing as well. In 2018, the same
shows how much he really knows, talking about Coinbase is the only game in town. Like, give me a break. Like, people have Kraken. Just because Kraken isn't available in New York State, just because Binance US isn't available in New York State, doesn't mean that Coinbase is the only game in town. And we also have the Gemini exchange from the Winklevoss twins as well. So give me a break with that. Coinbase is the only game in town. They're the biggest name in town, all right? But they're not the only game in town. Get your facts straight, buddy.
Saying that Bitcoin will emerge as its own asset class. And what's happening this week is giving a lot of credibility to this asset class. Bitcoin's market cap today is $1 trillion. The entire token market cap.
So trying to shut it down. Let her talk.
Bitcoin has emerged.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks.
So, again, we have the likes of the NY Dig and all these insurance companies getting involved with Bitcoin. We have Bitcoin displacing gold. And just like she stated, Bitcoin is emerging as its own asset class, all right? And, coming from NASDAQ, Bloomberg foresees Bitcoin rallying to 400K this year, right? And this is the same article right here. In Bullish Report, Bloomberg predicts 400K Bitcoin price in 2021 And it's just based on all the fundamentals that's happening right now. Not just like technical analysis and all that stuff. All the fundamentals that's happening right now. It's just common sense. We have a limited supply and really high demand. Miners are holding on to their Bitcoin. The price only has one way to go, and that's up. Yes, we have the likes of MicroStrategy and all these other publicly traded companies getting involved. Now, insurance companies getting involved and buying up Bitcoin. However, they're not buying it on the spot market. They're getting it on the over-the-counter markets where it doesn't affect the price, right? And eventually, the price will reflect what's been taking place on the over-the-counter market. Because PayPal is buying Bitcoin every single day. Square is buying Bitcoin every single day. Where are they going to get that from if miners aren't selling it anymore? The price only has one way to go, and that's up. And everything will be linked in the description below. Thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support. Smash that like, hit that subscribe button, and notification bell. And RIP to the dog, DMX. I'm out.